The final preparations are being made for today's opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Paris. This is the scene. Live in the French capital this morning. In the Olympic City, today's opening ceremony will see athletes and dignitaries carried down the River Seine on a filler of boats in front of around 300,000 spectators. On the eve of the Games, the French president, Emmanuel Macron, promised world leaders it would be one of the most incredible ceremonies. Security is tight, with half of the S now hidden behind fences and checkpoints. Let's speak to our Paris correspondent Hugh Schofield. Hugh, we're only a few hours away from the opening. We've heard it's going to be a spectacular event. What are you seeing, and what should we expect? Well, I can't give you any details, 'cause I don't know the details. It has all been kept under WS, and there are to be surprises. We're told hints have come out, and we know the rough format. I mean the rough format, as you say, will be this flotilla of boats carrying about 7,000 athletes down the River Seine. From upstream it at the Pont du leads down to Penya near the Eiffel Tower, and en route they will be regaled, as will millions and millions of TV viewers around the world, by a series of tableaux put on by dancers and actors on the banks of the River Seine, and in some cases I think on little islands that have been set up in the River Seine. Evoking, well, we're not quite sure what I mean. I suppose evoking sense of place, because it goes past all these amazing places like Notre-Dame, the Bastille, the Eiffel Tower, and so on. But what the sort of overarching theme will be, we're not sure. I mean that the director, a man called Tom Joly, has said he doesn't want it to be a kind of classic historical pageant, evoking all the great moment of French history, but something more modern and more inclusive. So we'll have to see. And then at the end there'll be a big concert at the Trocadéro, which is where all the dignitaries are going to be. And there the headline seems to be Celine Dion and Lady Gaga and A. Nakamura. But again, the lineup hasn't been confirmed. I'm just slightly guessing there are. And the idea of a show of this magnitude in a city that's under its highest terrorism a lot, it seems quite risky, doesn't it? So what security precautions are in place? Well, I mean the place just flooded with police and soldiers. I mean the idea was formed several years ago, but when the terrorist threat was already there, so they came into this knowing that security was going to be, from the very beginning, one of the biggest problems with this, and they had to scale down their ambitions, because initially they were talking about 600,000 people on the banks, and now it were down to half, at 300,000, because they realized that it was too much of a challenge. But even with that, it's been a massive operation, sealing off the center of the city along the river, barricades everywhere, these fences everywhere. The place that the city of Paris has emptied. Really, people aren't going anywhere near that area, and haven't been for the last week or two. Of course there will be then the people arriving this evening, and the hope is that will then kick off a period in which fans start investing the city again, and coming in and enjoying all the facilities. But right now, in the last few days, the city has felt very, very dead, surprisingly dead, and that's largely because of the security, and largely, I think, because of the way all the sort of pronouncements about the difficulties of travel and so on have put people off coming in. Well, we're very much looking forward to watching the opening ceremony here. Thank you so much for joining us.